This demonstration will show HL7 message building. In this example, I'll build an outbound HL7 message with information from a database. First, Mirth Connect will read the patient data from the hospital's EMR system. Mirth Connect will do this using a SQL select. Then, using map data elements, Mirth Connect will generate an HL7 ADT A04 message, which is a registration message, and it will send it out to a clinic for outpatient care. In this example, I'll focus on the database to LLP channel. You can see now that it has received and sent no messages. Let's edit this channel. The source is a database reader. I've set the driver and I've set the URL. Made sure I'm reading from the demo database. I put my username and password, my polling frequency, and then I entered some SQL statements. To generate the select statement, I'll go ahead and hit the select button. Hit Get Tables. Let's select the patient table. Let's not select the primary ID key. And now we can see that it's generated the select statement. There's only one thing I modified here. As you can see below, I modified the select statement to have a where clause where it only processes messages where the processed column is set to false. This allows me to use a flag to know what rows to process in the table. I'm also using an onUpdate statement to update the patient table and set the processed flag to true. I'm only doing this when the patient ID is equal to the current patient ID that I processed. This is one way to limit the rows that you query. If you're not able to use a processed column or flag in the database, there are other ways to change this as well. You could always store the last date that you processed messages, or you could create your own table in a different database and store all of the records that you processed there. Now let's look at what the transformer does for this channel. I'll go ahead and edit the transformer. And I see there are 23 message builder steps. If I look at the message templates, I can see here that I have an auto-generated XML template. I can't change the data type of the incoming message. This is because whenever I'm reading from the database, the result set automatically gets serialized into XML. This XML was generated based on my select statement. The outbound message template that I pasted here is what I actually want to be sent as the message. In this case, I'm going to overwrite fields that I need to overwrite. If I go to the message tree tab, I can see trees for both the incoming message and the outbound message template. I see a bunch of message builder steps on the left. So let's see how I created those. Let's say I wanted to map the patient database first name column into the PID 5.2 patient given name. I'll just drag it down here and drop it on top of the given name. That creates a brand new message builder step. Message builder step is mapping from MSG, patient first name, that's the incoming message, to the outbound template, PID 5.2. I could do a few more mappings here as well. Map the given name or the family name to the last name, and so on. You can see how I did another 20 mappings, and that actually generated an entirely valid message. As the destination, I just chose an LLP sender. I left all the default settings. I don't have any filter or transformer. I'm trying to send to port 6660, and I need to set up a server that listens there. So let's leave this channel, and let me show you I created another channel called LLP Listener. This channel just listens on port 6660. It doesn't do anything with the message. There aren't any filters or transformers. And on the destination, I just chose to use a channel writer and write out to none. This means that it's just going to drop off the message and not do anything with it. So I'm just using the LLP receiver as a dummy LLP receiver just to receive the messages that the first channel is going to send it. Now let's process a message. In order to process a message through this channel, the process boolean flag needs to be set to false. If you remember, the query was only reading rows where the process flag was false. So let's edit this. If I edit that value and I save it, now I can go back to Mirth Connect, and I'll see that it has received a message and it sent a message. If I go back into the database and refresh it, I'll see that Mirth Connect has marked that row as processed. If I wanted to process it again, I could simply flip that back to false. Let's look at the message that was processed. Here's the raw source message that came in. You can see that I received all of the information from the rows in the database. Transform message shows the XML representation of the message after all of the replacements have been done. So this is the outbound message template in XML format with the transform steps already completed. And then I choose the encoded data type as HL7, so the encoded message is the transform message serialized back into HL7. So you can see how the information from here in the database, you have the patient's name, the patient's doctor, some dates, times, all got stuck into the ADT A04 outbound message that I generated. So with just those 20 or so message builder steps and an outbound template, I've generated a valid ADT A04 HL7 message.